Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Get Up 10 Podcast. I'm super, super excited. I don't think I've had this much anticipation for an episode because the way that this episode has been a struggle, but here we are. I'm here with Army vet, father, grandfather, and soon to be published author, founder and creator of Our War. We Are Resilient, Kevin Nivek. Welcome to Get Up 10 Podcast.
Hey man, listen, when you get somewhere after you've been on a struggle bus for 2 weeks almost trying to get to that one destination, when you finally get there, you can just let your hair down and just be like,
Yes,
look what God did.
yes.
I'm excited to be here. We had our issues getting this thing, but listen, man, I'm grateful because I know the conversation that we're going to have is going to be impactful. It's going to be loaded with full of value, and it's going to touch someone's life in a way that God saw fit for that to happen. So, thank you so much for inviting me and allowing me to be on your platform. It is absolutely an honor.
Of course. So without further ado, I'm like, let's get into this thing.
Let's get into it.
So I
Let's
always
get into it.
share with my guests. I created Get Up 10, my podcast, my platform, to
Mhm.
encourage somebody to get back up from every blow and punch that life throws at them, just to know that
Yeah.
you can get back up and there's nothing that you're going through that somebody else has not already been through and overcame. And that's why I love to share my platform, because my story can only go but so far, but I bet your story is able to reach other people that I can't. And so that is the magic of collaboration, and why I'm so excited to
Mm,
get into your story today. And
I
also,
love
on
it.
top of resilience, because we are resilient, that word,
Yeah.
that's like one of my values right there that I live my life
Yeah.
by. But on top of resilience, one of my other key values is authenticity and just showing up
Yeah.
as yourself. So I'm excited to get
Absolutely.
into this conversation around that.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
always start off by asking my guests, how has life knocked you down?
Wow. I didn't get this just overnight, right? And shout out to me real quick. Let me shout out to me real quick because I turn a half a century next Thursday, the 21st of September. So happy birthday to me for that. Yeah.
Yes,
So
happy early birthday.
yeah, listen, I got 18,262 and a half days in the books, right? And life has happened for me and it's not happened to me. And there have been a lot of things that I have traversed. There's been a lot of dark valleys. There's been a lot of letdowns, setbacks. There's been a lot of heartache, a lot of hemorrhaging. There's been some laughs. There's been a plethora of things that has happened to me, happened that I thought happened to me that actually happened for me. And I have understood through the years that if you just get back up and take another step, that whenever you fail or whenever you feel like life has failed you or whenever you feel like something has gone wrong that didn't end up the way that you wanted to, if you are not emotional about whatever the event is, and you realize that you have another opportunity, because if you wake up in the morning, God has allowed you to wake up. And I'm going to say God has allowed you to wake up because you didn't regulate your blood pressure. You didn't regulate your organs. You didn't slow your breathing down. You didn't keep the electricity in your brain going. You had nothing to do with that. So if the creator allowed you to take in another breath and expand your chest cavity and keep your heart beating, that means that he still has work for you to do and it's not over. I did not realize that, Ginger, for a long time. I walked around here like, yo, God, why are you doing me like this? Why are you doing me dirty? Why I got to keep living? Why you keep waking me up? And did not realize how foolish I was by what I was saying. And if God really was, I hear people that say, well, God can't be a good God. You look at the Old Testament, God was killing people and babies and blah, 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 and whoopty wah. If he took us at our word every time, Ginger, we woke up and said, God, I'm just ready to die. Just take me now. I'm done. You don't understand how much grace you've been given. And I didn't realize that. So all the stuff that happened to me, I lived my life as you ever watch that movie Groundhog's Day? My
I'm not
life
a
was literally,
movie girl.
man, my life was literally Groundhog's Day. Literally means you're repeating the same thing over and over. You got this. You ever watch some cartoons where you watch your baby watching cartoons and you got the tree, you got the hill, and then that one tree, the hill, and then that one tree. My life was like that. I was
Yeah.
passing the same two hills and the one tree every day because I did not realize that there were lessons in the things that were happening to me. And I was taking it and blaming God for things when in all actuality, it was the decisions that I was making. So I really don't know exactly where to start to tell you what has, where did life let me down or what lessons did I there are so many, but the one thing that I did learn is that what I think every single day affects my personality. What I say affects my personality. And those things that affect my personality create my personal reality. And this is the thing that I see every single day. And I had to learn to stop saying, Kevin, you're a loser. Kevin, you so stupid. Kevin, it's never gonna change. Kevin, you're gonna always be in this hole. Kevin, you don't trust, you don't trust people. I was that guy. And God brought me out of that ugly and let me realize, like, yo, I got you here for a reason. I need you to wake up, open your eyes, and I need you to see where I brought you from. You still here because you got work to do. And that idea to change what I say to myself, my self-talk, has really turned things around for me.
Yeah. The way I love the quote that says the most important conversation that you have is with yourself,
With
right?
yourself. That's a
Because
fact.
who do you talk to more than yourself?
And you in your head every day. Like
Exactly.
literally, for anybody that's watching this, do this right now. Don't say nothing, right, Ginger? Don't say anything. Keep your mouth, like, I want you to say this, but I don't want you to say this out loud. Like, sit there, keep your mouth closed. Don't audibly say this, but just say, I love you. Right now. Say it. 1, 2, 3, say it. It's loud and it's in your head, right? What
Yeah.
voice is that? Where did that voice come from? That's you talking to
Yeah.
you, right? And you're right. We talk to ourselves every day. We
Yep.
have the most conversation with us every day.
Yeah.
What are you saying to yourself every single day?
Exactly.
That's something that you need to think about.
So I want to get more into your story because
Yeah.
I love all that, but I know that it didn't start like that. So
Mm-mm.
I don't know where you want to start. I feel like, just let Holy Spirit lead you on what you want to share. But I don't know if you want to talk about like what life was like growing up or what made you
Yeah.
decide.
I'm a brat, right?
Okay.
These are military. I'm a military brat. I was born in Georgia. Go my dogs! I love the Georgia Bulldogs. That's my squad. And I was raised in Germany for a vast majority of my childhood, and that taught me a lot about we all are human. We all are not the same. I mean, I get it. It's cute to say, yo, we're all one race. And I mean, that's cute, but um, we're different creatures. Black folk are different. We're not the same as our counterparts. We're not the same as Hispanics. We're not this. I mean, we're not. Me living in Germany taught me to not judge people based off of what they look like. My parents were amazing at that. My mother was a newspaper editor when she was in high school for her town newspaper in Fort White, Florida. She was exceptionally smart. She read all the time, very well articulated. She is a poet. Matter of fact, I have my mother's book on my shelf right now. She taught us the value of valuing the character of people and not so much their talent. If somebody has a ton of talent, but they got the morals of a lab rat, That's not somebody you want to be hanging out with. That's not somebody you want to be taking advice from. That's not somebody you want to value. You don't want to beatify them, and you don't want to shape shift yourself, so to speak, your
Mm-hmm.
character behind that. She taught me that. I did not learn this lesson hardcore until I went to this thing that was called a Kris Kringle market. Now, this was during the holidays, and I think I was in the fifth grade, fourth, fifth grade, right? And we go to this market, and they was blowing glass, got ginger house cookies, and it was this amazing cultural event that the Germans typically have during the Christmas season. The smells were vibrant. You can smell cinnamon and nutmeg in the air, and it was a nice chill, and there's probably snow on the ground, and it was a little overcast, and they got bright lights everywhere, and they called it Kris Kringle, and they got their own version of Santa Claus, and they got these like 100 different tents in this one confined area, and you can go in there. I got my mom a beer mug, it's a little miniature beer mug, blown glass, blah blah blah. You get it. Well, my class left, and I did not know that they had went to another part of that park area, and I was getting some glass blown from my dad to have his name and my mom's name scribed on the glass. And I turned around thinking that my group leader was behind me, and there was a black lady standing there. And I was like, oh. And I'm like, hey, I'm lost. And I tugged on her shirt. And she turned around and looked at me with like this. And she said, Was ist los? And in Germany, that means, what's going on? What is this? Right. And I'm sitting here looking at her, and I am in shock. My whole life changed at that point. And I was like, yo, she darker than me, black. And she don't understand English. She speaks all German. Oh man, you want to talk about cultural shock? I was like in complete shock. That changed my entire life at that moment. And I knew that what my mother would have been teaching me this whole time, every time so this was like our second time coming back, that you cannot judge people based off of what they look like. Now, that might seem like something that somebody might be like, yeah, well, I guess, whatever. But that really played a role in my life to not be on this color thing. Living over there really changed me. I didn't see homeless people. I didn't see garbage on the street. I didn't see graffiti. When we lived there, I saw none of that until I came back to the United States. I don't know if you gotta bleep. Can you bleep out words on your thing when you edit?
I might have to figure that out.
I wasn't called. I ain't gonna put you in that position. I wasn't called a ninja till I came back to the U.S. And that was when I hit the ninth grade. I never heard that word before, never, until I was in the ninth grade. So some might say, you lived an isolated life. I don't know. I was raised by an officer in the military. My mother was so loving. My dad was too. But that really gave me some foundation that would help me, that I did not realize that would help me later in my life as I got older, graduated high school, and joined the military myself.
Yeah. So was your decision to join the military based off of your upbringing, or like did you
Yeah.
know that's what you were gonna do?
Nah. And the reason why I didn't know that's what I was going to do is because I was goofing off in high school. I was a class clown. I talked all the time. I almost got suspended from school because I wouldn't stop talking so much. I'd be in the class, teacher trying to teach. I'm up there yapping, yap, 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 and I wouldn't shut up. Anytime I got in trouble in school is because I was always talking. I have always been a social butterfly. I gave my first speaking engagement, if you will, when this is probably before you was born or in high school, in 1991, in front of 2,500 people, when Magic Johnson came out and said that he had HIV, he was HIV positive. The school was in an uproar. Like back then, that was like, oh my God. Now we'd be like, okay, so what? They got
Yeah.
medication for that. Let's keep it moving, right? Back then, that was a culture shock. And he was a vibrant role in the Black community. We had like our heroes to look up to, him, Magic, whatever. And that was the first time that I could get up into school and speak. And I that's all I did. So throughout high school, I goofed off. I had my dad had to come to the school one time, Ginger. I didn't even realize my teacher had called him just so that they could see. And I'm sitting in the classroom, my pops, 6'3", standing in the back of the classroom in his military uniform. I didn't even know he was there. He had already met my teacher before class. I was in the class before downstairs in another annex. I had to walk to her class. She had already talked to him. I didn't even know he was there. Now, our school was 45 minutes from where I lived. I lived in a little town called Vosges, Germany, and I went to Mannheim, which was 45 minutes away. So I go in the classroom. I didn't even see him there. He wasn't there. I walked in, sat down. Class started. I'm standing up. I'm sitting in my seat with my feet in the seat. She was like, Kevin, can you, sit down? I'm like, yeah. I sat down. I will never forget this. She was teaching her history lesson or whatever, and I started talking. Me and my boy, I'm throwing little little the spitball joints and the straws. I'm hitting him. I'm acting up. I'm talking. I'm trying to make jokes, cracking up, blah blah blah. And she turned to me and she said, Kevin, I need you to stop talking. You're disrupting my class. And I was like, all right, Miss Rademacher, I'll stop talking to stop disrupting your class. You ever feel that feeling when somebody's standing behind you and you feel like the energy around you change?
Yep.
I sat down and my dude looked at me and he was like, and I felt it and I jerked like that. Yo, my shenanigans. If I literally could feel my guardian angel was like, hey, bro, I'm gonna get at you later. We out. Like, my dad was like, I need you to stand up now in front of everybody. He grabbed me and literally dragged me out of that classroom and had Miss Rademacher come back. They was outside. And when I tell you, my father embarrassed the bejesus out of me. I think that was the last time that I acted like that in school. And I was in the 9th grade. I didn't have anywhere to go after school when I graduated. I had a 3.1 or something. I graduated. I got my stuff together, but I had no future. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I just thought I just gonna do what my daddy did, not knowing I did not have the same discipline level that he had. He was an officer in the White House. He made it that high. He was a CW4. I didn't have that type of discipline. Didn't realize I was about to step into something and I had no idea what I was getting into. No clue.
I'm still trying to figure out where does the switch get flipped, or even like when you were in that place of like, God, why are you waking me up again? Because I've been there.
Yeah.
What was going on? And I don't know if that's
Oh,
happened
yeah.
multiple
You
times, or you remember
yeah,
like one time where it's happening heavy.
that had so you jump into my adult life.
Okay.
When I was a child, when I was a child, Ginger, I dealt with things that I did not understand. I saw things as a child that an incident happened when I was in the 10th grade. We were back in the United States. We were living in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And me and my friends, sometimes we dabble with Ouija boards and that type of stuff. I was in church heavy. I was raised in church. One night, I remember being at home, and I talked to God a couple times, like, yo, I don't even know if I want to do the church thing no more. I told my mom one time, disappointed. I said, man, we go to church, we stay there all day. I think I'd rather just go to hell if it takes me to stay at church all day. Like and when I was in 10th grade, I was a knucklehead. One night, I'm laying in my room, and my room was on the back side of our apartment, and I laid down and I saw what I was laying on my side, and I thought my mom came in to change. She gives us towels, puts us in our room, things like that. I thought my mom had walked in because I saw somebody standing at the end of my bed, and it wasn't my mom. What looked like a 6'10" figure with extremely broad shoulders, this dark figure standing at the foot of my bed. And I tried to move, but I just kept staring. And it rocked backwards toward the wall. It came forward. It rocked back toward the wall, and it fell on me. And when it fell on me, I lost my breath. I rolled out of the bed and I was choking and I hit on the floor. I was banging on the floor. And all the next thing you know, my dad comes charging into the room. He opened the door. He's like, Kevin, what's wrong with you? Blah, blah, blah. I was like drooling. And he was like, he called my mom, Trish, come here, call her. They called the paramedics. Now, this is the part that really freaked me out. When the paramedics came there, my dad and two other grown military medical personnel tried to carry me down the stairs. I was in the 10th grade. I was sticks and bones. And I remember the man saying, oh my God, how much does this kid weigh? I could barely carry him. And my dad was like, yeah, what's going on? And they literally almost dropped me going down the stairs. That was a small shift to know that, yo, God is real. And if you want to take yourself out of his grace and you want to go on your own path, you are literally walking and living your life outside of his grace, his mercy, and his provisions. The dark side is real. If you want to play with that, you go right ahead and play with that. That was the first shift. The second shift happened when I was like wanting to really like, yo, God, I don't understand why you keep having me live through this. Is when I came home from work and I caught what I thought was the love of my life, the mother of my children. When I caught her in my house, sleeping with a coworker, that's when all hell broke loose in my life. That was probably the lowest valley that I've ever been in. That was the worst.
I can't even imagine. Both of those pivotal moments are very heavy, to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can tell you this, being in this community has really helped me realize that if you have gone through trauma, and it doesn't have to just be infidelity or your spouse cheating on your husband, whatever your thing is, not only do you have to go back into that shadow realm and deal with that dragon that's hoarding the gold of your life because you're emotionally attached to that event. So your memories come from your memories, and you can recall things in your life faster when you have an emotion that is attached to an event.
Yeah.
And if that trauma was hard enough, if that trauma was harsh enough, if that trauma was big enough, if the event was magnetized by you being involved in it, that emotion in that event is embossed in your memory. And so you can recall it every day like this, because now you start wiring and firing new neurological synapses in your brain. And then you just keep living this event over and over. You ever had something happen to you where you think about it? And if you think about it long enough, you can feel like it literally just happened. And that could have been 10, 15 years ago. That's because it is embossed in your frontal lobe, and you have created that neurological synapse, and you just keep wiring and firing that every day. That's what I was doing. But getting into this community, Ginger, has taught me how to actually deal with that, how to actually deal with the shadow work. I had an embarrassing moment one time with Jeremy Anderson. And I don't know if you've ever been on any of his Sunday, 6-figure speaker challenges, but I was on one of his events. It was free. And this was like 2 years ago. And he asked people, was asking questions, and he came to me and he asked me a question. He had some questions come up. You put your hand up or whatever. And he called on me. Now, there was probably 200 people in this room. This is the most embarrassing thing ever happened to me. When I started talking, I told him how I wanted to be a speaker, and this, that, and the third, and that event came up. And I can tell you right now, I started slinging snot, boohoo crying, like going ballistic. And there was a woman in that chat that said, brother, you're not ready to speak. You're not ready because you haven't healed from that. And I didn't realize, and I thought I did. And I didn't realize that I just buried it. I suppressed that feeling. I didn't metabolize that pain and figure out what did you learn from that? What can you gather from that to teach and give to someone else? And that event is probably the lowest in my life, and that helped me change being in this community with you all. that really helped me change my perspective on life. It helped me change my perspective on pain, and it helped me understand the power of metabolizing pain and looking at it from a different lens of what God brought you through so that you could heal. Because once you heal, you become an anomaly to a broken world. Once you heal, you become the most qualified individual to reach back and service the person that you used to be. We're so good at getting up. We are so good at dusting ourselves off and showing off for the gram and making people think that we really winning. But when we turn the camera off, we're hemorrhaging from open sores and wounds. We're bleeding to death from pain. We're bleeding to death from trauma. We are beating ourselves up mentally, spiritually, socially. Our children are losing. Our finances are broken. We got fractured families. We got fractured finances. We got fractured everything. We got fear and we got faith. And both of those are literally settled in the soil of a single soul. And we fight with this every day because we're not healed. But we put on for people to make us think that, yo, you really winning. But behind that facade of a smile is someone screaming out for pain. They're screaming from pain and screaming out for help. And that was me. You all are literally with Will and being in this group, and man, being in this community has really taught me how to actually heal, be whole, and then don't just be great at getting up, but be a master at reaching back and serving that person that you used to be.
I love that. I get so excited when people start talk about when you heal, when you show up as the healed version of yourself, because I've definitely been there in that broken place where it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm gonna get back up. I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. I'm just
Yeah.
holding it together right now.
Yeah.
To when you finally get to that place and you can look back and say, "Oh, wait a minute, wait,
Yeah.
wait a minute, something's
Yeah.
happened." So I get so excited to talk about healing and encourage people to do that. And it's not
Yeah. It's
easy.
important. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not easy, but it's important, Ginger,
Yeah.
because your problems, listen to me, your problems are literally a platform for God to pour power into your purpose. I'm going to say that again. Your problems are the platform for God to pour power into your purpose. I used to run from my problems. I used to fake the funk. We used to say back in the day, you faking the funk on a nasty dunk. That used to be me. I used to fake like nothing hurt. I used to fake like I'm good. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. But in all actuality, I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm hurt. I'm hurt. I'm broke. I'm scathed. Life is beating me down. I have a kaleidoscope of emotion and I don't know where I'm at. I feel lost every day. I feel like, God, do you even know that I exist? I feel like, yo, am I even significant? If I die, man, you know how bad it was when I had my wife one time. I literally said, if I died, I don't even think that you would even notice. That's how broke. And this was the woman that I caught beforehand. And I blame God. Ginger, I promise you, I went to God like, yo, I hate you. I literally said this when that happened. And the most pivotal moment for me to get out, that got me out of that situation. And I have this in my book that's coming out. And I'll share this with you now. And this is how important it is to heal and stop playing. You will never get rid of your demons if you keep entertaining them. You will never get rid of your demons if you keep entertaining them. The devil is the prince of the power of the air, but we have dominion on this planet. God gave you dominion to run. They can't play in your life if you tell them to leave. They have to go. You have dominion over them. You have dominion over the devil. He has the ability, but you have the power to shut down his ability through God. And the day that this happened to me, I sat in my living room. I had a 40 cal. It wasn't a revolver. My boy gave me this gun because somebody was trying to break in my house. It was stuck up under. I had it in my house, and I had it up under the service chair in my living room. And Ginger, when I tell you, I used to play with adolescent spirits, and they looked like my kids. I would run home from work because depression literally kept me company. I would come home, kids was moved out, wife was moved out, and I'm in this big old 4-bedroom house by myself. I would have the shutters closed. It'd be bright as day outside. It's dark as night in my house. And I would sit in the living room and I would hear footsteps running through my house. It sounded like my kids. It was so bad. I was in such a dark shadow realm, is what I call it. And this one particular day, it was a Saturday afternoon. It was March 5th. I will never forget this. I was sitting in my living room. Again, this is why it's important to get healed and get help if you need it. I sat in the living room and I was like, today is the day. I'm done. I lost the picture because I don't use Google anymore, or the Samsung, but I took this picture. If I can find it, I'll show it to you. This is the last picture that I took that I was going to send to my mother, and actually wrote a note to have my best friend, Troy, send this picture to my mom, because this is the last one that she would have had of me before I blew my head off. I sat in that living room with that gun, and I don't even like talking about it, but this is a part of my story. And when I sat there, I was about to stick this gun in my mouth, and I'm crying profusely. And I looked to the left, and it looked like there was 2 people sitting on my sofa. Now, again, it's dark in my house. This was, you could, like, it was prominent. I could tell there was like, this wasn't no regular shadow. Like, this wasn't no, and I just stopped and I looked, and I heard this voice say very clearly, I didn't do this to you. I specifically told you that this woman was not for you, but you chose on your own. I didn't do this. This was your doing. I'm here for you and I will help you, but I need you to surrender to me now. Right after that happened, I hear this. This brother, Dr. Cobb, was in my church, was a good friend of mine. He was a medical physician. He came in that house, and I stuck the gun up under the seat, opened the door, and he was like, bruh, you good? I'm like, yo, yeah, what's up? It was literally like the ram running up the side of the mountain when Abraham was about to sacrifice. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm good. What's up? He was like, dude, I'm sitting at the house. We was getting ready to go to Columbus. For whatever reason, I just felt this unction, and I felt like God was saying, you need to go get Kevin now. He showed up at my house just like that. And when he said that, I was already crying, but tears was boom. He pushed back. He was like, bro, get some light in this joker. What's going on? And when he saw me, he was like, dude, either A, you do what I tell you now, or I am going to admit you for full clinical depression and put you in the hospital. That would have messed up my driver's license because I got a CDL. It would have made everything worse. So he said, you got a choice now. And from that moment on, I started seeking help the right way.
I get emotional when I hear stories like that because it's like God would really come and get you. And we believe
Yeah.
this lie that we're all alone and all these lies. And when that moment happens where God is like, you're not alone. I
Yeah.
see
You're
you.
not.
I'm here for you. And the way that, it's so deep because not only did God show you that, but also for
Yeah.
that man to be obedient because you never
Yeah.
know who's on the other end of your obedience. So
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I feel
I'll
like
never forget that. I'll never forget that day ever in my life. That was a pivotal moment, man. And a lot of people may not believe, Ginger. We got, it's a lot of people, and hats off to you if you don't believe in God. And let me tell you why like hats off to you for real, because it takes so much. Like, you got a level of faith to not believe, man. That is, I want that, because faith ain't just a mustard seed. Like, yeah, it's a mustard seed, but it grows into something. There are
mhm.
levels to this thing called faith. And the fact that you got enough faith not to believe that God exists, yo, hats off to you. I wish I had that much faith. But for those of us that do believe, yeah, he got your back. He's
Yeah.
looking out for you, but you just got to get out of the way and stop thinking that you can do things yourself. And oftentimes, Ginger, we like to say, oh, the devil, nothing. That joker whack. You read this scripture, the gates of hell shall not prevail. against the church of the living. Oh, okay, so you understand. I've been raised in this church. I've always been under this impression that the gates of hell mean the people that believe in God, we always under attack, and we gotta play defensive, and we gotta be like this, and we gotta whoop. That's not what that means. That's not what that means. That means that, a gate is literally to keep people in and keep people out.
Yeah.
So if there's a gate, and Jesus literally said, I'm on this rock right here, I'm planting my church. He planted his church right at the doorstep of hell. And he literally said the gates of hell will not prevail, meaning they can't stop us from busting through that gate and releasing the people that are held captive by everything that they throw at them, by every scheme that they throw at them, by every demon, every spirit, every power, any and everything that tries to keep you down, keep you bound, make you want to take your life, make you want to give up, make you want to walk away from God, make you want to hate life, make you want to hate yourself, make you not want to chase your dream, make you not want to chase what God has called you and anointed you to do. He said, I am going to plant my church right here, and the gates of hell is not going to prevail against it, meaning he can't stop us. It's too much power. So he lost on every level. God is real, and he will show up in your life and show out as long as you release him to do that. Let him be God in your life and stop letting your ego run things. That's how I got in trouble. And that's why I'm here now, because I let go. I literally had to let go.
Yeah. So now I know why this episode was the devil was trying so hard not to have it happen. Because
Yeah.
So I'll just let you know, I started off this season last week, and I really just felt like it was time for me to share my testimony, because the word says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So I was like, I have to really share my testimony, and that's something I need to practice. And so I did it. It wasn't the most organized, most beautiful story, but I did it. And yeah, so now when this episode comes out, I just feel like this season of Get Up 10 is going to be like grenades to the enemy, because the speakers that we have lined up, including yourself, I'm like, somebody's getting set free. Somebody's getting again. Like,
Let's
I love
go.
it. I'm so excited.
Listen, we say this all the time, Ginger. There's an awakening happening. There's an awakening happening. There's a spiritual, there's a psychological, there's a financial, there's awakening happening for so many people. You cannot lose. If you seek, you're gonna find. If you knock, it's gonna be open. It's not withheld from you. It's not withheld from you. The testimony that you have, God brought you through. Whatever that, God brought you through that. It don't matter what it looked like to somebody else. It don't matter what it looked like to you. Oftentimes I don't watch anything that I put out. If I make a video or I speak somewhere, I'll edit it, or I'll get it edited. I don't watch. I won't even go back and watch it. Why? Because I hate the way that I sound. I hate my voice. And I had a friend of mine tell me, bro, your message, it ain't for you anyway.
Yeah.
Your life ain't for you. What you thought you was living your life for you? Your life ain't for you. Your life is to be lived. Your victories are to be won, and your testimony is to release another captive that is struggling, locked in this prison, locked in this dark room, locked in this cave, locked in this valley, locked in this whatever. You hold the key to release the captive. You hold the key to set the captive free. It might not sound right to you. You might feel like, oh, it wasn't the most organized, but guess what? The person that heard that was like, yo, that's exactly what I needed, because I've been going through that. That's what I needed, because I've been struggling with that. Yeah. She just gave me another level of faith and another level of this or that. Man, there's awakening happening right now. And it's time for us to step in this river, because the waters are deep, and God is like, yo, I got so much for you right now. You have no idea. And I haven't even opened up the bounty chest I got in the back. You ain't, wait till you get to that part. Wait till you get to that part. And that's what got me so stoked. You know what I'm saying? That's what got me fired up.
Yeah. You've been listening to, I'm like, oh my gosh, downloads, revelation, because I can't wait. Once we get off of this, I'm like, I need to get my thoughts together, because you just helped me see something even more clearly, and I'm so excited.
Yeah.
But I also, with this energy, want to go to the next part, which is where I talk about how you got back up. And you've already mentioned some things throughout the course of this interview of how you shifted, how you changed, but I want to make sure that it's clear to somebody.
Yeah.
Like, what did he do? What can I do to get back up? I'm feeling like he was feeling, I'm going through
Yeah.
what he was going through. So I know you've mentioned, like, you talked about breaking cycles, you talked about
Yeah.
community. You
Yeah.
obviously are a man of faith. So if somebody's where you used to be, how do they get back up?
You when you're listen, I'm glad you asked me this because this is so pivotal for everybody. If you win the day, you can win your life. What does that mean? I need you to stop, sit down in a quiet place, sit on the edge of your bed. I don't care. But I need you to look, I need you to literally inside your head. We did this earlier. We did this test earlier when we said I love you. And you
Mhm.
heard, you didn't audibly say it, but you said it here. Okay. I need you to ask yourself, what incredibly ignorant thing am I doing every day that I specifically know better, that I just haven't got tired enough to stop doing, that I know is holding me back from being the greatest version of myself every day? What is that incredibly stupid thing that I am doing that's keeping me from being that God queen or that God king or that young valiant warrior that God called Gideon, the angel called Gideon, you valiant man of God? Like, what thing is stopping me from doing that I know good and well that I need to change, but I won't? What low vibrational habit am I doing every single day that I wake up that is causing me to waste the most valuable asset that I have, which is my time? What incredibly low vibrational thing am I doing that is hindering? Watch this. You are hindering God from being great in your life, because when you are being disobedient, you are literally binding his hands where he can't move in your life because you are deciding to do yourself. Why? Because God is a perfect gentleman. First of all, he's not going to push himself on you. If you decide that, yo, I'm going to do what I want to do, your ego is literally edging God out. When you do what you want, he'll be like, yo, run, you got it. I'm out. Listen, I'm going to sit back here. And when you get done spilling the milk and tearing up stuff, then my grace is sufficient. But and for the meantime, ask yourself these things. And if anything that you're doing in your personal life does not line up with the commitment that you gave God, or if you did not make a commitment, maybe it's time for you to reevaluate what you're doing and get your actions to line up with your vision. Don't let the vision drive the action, or don't let the actions drive the vision. Let the vision drive your actions. Let your vision of the life that you want to live dictate, constitute, and drive the actions that you do every day. If those things ain't lining up, then you have what you have an imbalance. And as a human, you must have homeostasis. Your body is constantly fighting for balance. And when there is imbalance and you run this level of imbalance every day, your imbalance now becomes the new balance. And you keep running this broken plate every day of your life because you're not in balance. And God is sitting here like, yo, if you just stop doing this, let us level this playing field out and just follow the play that I gave you, everything will change like that. And that's what happened for me. So actionable steps. This is what you can do. Look at the first 15 minutes of your day. When you wake up, what do you do? If you notice that your body autonomously picks up the phone as soon as you get the coal out your eye, and you start scrolling like this. Oh, face. Oh, look at this. Will got this. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Let me go to Twitter. Oh, let me go to IG. Oh, let me see TikTok. While you're making your way to the bathroom, now you in the bathroom. You don't carry this phone in your personal space. You ain't talked to you one time. You ain't said, Big Jesus, thank you for putting air in my lungs. Thank you for letting me wake up. You ain't said none of that. You haven't even said, Ginger, I love you today, girl. We about to kill it today. Thank you for being you. Thank you for surviving. Thank you for having the strength and the courage and the tenacity and the resilience and the willingness to want to fight another day. Thank you for working hard for our baby. Thank you for wanting to have our child's floor be our ceiling when we leave here. Thank you for leaving. You haven't even said that. You just go straight doing this. You are now living your life on a program that is dictated by people in apps and on social media that could care less about you. And if you died, they wouldn't even notice. Actionable step. Within the first 15 minutes of your day, tell yourself how your day is going to go. We're going to win at this. I want to act this way. I want to respond this way. I want to feel this way. And I'm not going to let anything stop me. I'm going to be the first millionaire in my family. I'm going to create legacy for my child. I'm going to do something to impact somebody's life today more than myself. And when your day, throughout the day, find out where you fall. Start taking inventory of yourself. Stop letting everybody else dictate how you live your life. Stop letting social media dictate this is what you're supposed to do to achieve success. Stop that. You have control. And if you see that maybe, you know, at 2 o'clock this afternoon, somebody cut me off in traffic and I fired up, that was called a fail. Take notes. Review your day. The most financially successful companies in the world, they have agendas. They have companies that they have departments in their company that actually run audits to find out where they're losing money, where they're losing time. Yo, if billionaires and super billionaires are doing this to manage their money and their finances and keep winning, why are you not doing it? Because your life is a business as well. So start taking inventory of self. Find out where you won. Great, I won here, but I got this anger issue in traffic, or I snapped off at this lady at the store, or I kind of snapped off at my child. Find out what that thing is. Start digging in it. That's called shadow work. When you do that shadow work and you find out where you lost it, if you address that and say, hey, Ginger, today we fixing that. Tomorrow is not going to be like, and if you attack that and you fix that, you will have more wins in your life on a daily basis, that things will start to change. And now your personality has changed because your personal reality has changed, because you're now addressing the things that are causing you to fail. That's how I got where I'm at. That's how I teach my clients. This is what we do. And at the end of the week, last one, at the end of the week, have a conversation with yourself. Get you some hot Java. I don't care. I don't know. You drink water, coffee, whatever. Just cut out 1 hour. Don't say I ain't got it, because you got it. We all get 24 hours of the day. We all think that the day starts at 6 a.m., but at 12:01 a.m., your day has started. Rich people wake up at 3 to 4 a.m. Why? Because that's literally called the God time. The pineal gland in your brain starts to release the highest levels of melanin in your body between 1:30 to 4 o'clock in the morning. That is the God zone. If you get to that, if you wake up at that time, you want to create, you will write the best poem. You will write the best chapters of your book. You will write the best verse of your song. You will probably create the hottest social media video on your platform, because that is the God mode. Rich people wake up like that on purpose. They make decisions like that on purpose. So have a moment where you can, at the end of your week on Saturday, Sunday is the first day, Saturday is the last day. Take inventory of the prior week. Find out where you lost. Tell yourself what you did good. When God created, the Bible says he looked and said, this is good. He patted himself on the back. You have the right to pat yourself on the back when you do good. And you also have the right to pat yourself on the back when you fail. Why? Because failure teaches you what you did wrong. You might have something in your programming that's off. You might got something in your system that's off. And when you can recognize, hey, that part right there might not be, let's adjust that. And when you adjust that, let's go. Winning. We winning now. You feel me?
I love all that.
Winning.
One thing that God has showed me last week is that it's one thing to be able to sit there and identify where you're coming short, or that habit,
yes,
or whatever that's keeping you back. A lot of people can sit there and say, yeah, I got a problem with XYZ. Yeah, I need to stop doing this. But they don't actually take the next step. And something that God has shown me or reminded me of recently is that it's not enough to just verbalize it. It's not enough to be aware of it. You really do have to replace it with something productive, with whatever it is that you want to see.
You have to.
I want to
And,
say
and
that
that's
because,
and that's clutch. That's clutch, Ginger, that you said that, because the idle mind is the playground for the devil.
yeah,
Period. You have so if you got a bad habit that you got over, it doesn't take 21 days. That's a lie. Okay, that it's cute. It sounds good, but scientifically and biologically speaking, it literally takes 90 to 180 days for you to incorporate a new habit in your life. So if you've done that and you got rid of an old habit, that's dope. Hats off to you. I'm proud of you. Don't just sit there and like, yo, what can I do next? Because you will soon start to find something else that may not align with the calling that God has given you, and now you've fallen into something else. Fill that with something positive. Fill that with something more energetic. Fill that with something that's going to push you toward your goal, or toward you making. Instead, you want to make 100,000. You want to make 100,000 this year. Great. Do something aligned to that. You want to make 250, 500, a mil. Do something. Incorporate something that will align you to that. Don't just lay idle, because that's where you will lose.
exactly. Thank you
Yeah.
for adding that. The last serious question, because I do have some fun questions. The last serious question that I like to ask is, and you already touched on this, but again, I
Mm.
like to make it clear to my audience. So, what does it look like to you to live life with no filter and just authentically be you?
Ooh, you gonna catch this? How? And I know I'm not supposed to ask a young lady how old she is, but I will guesstimate that you close. I got kids in the 30s, so I will guesstimate that you in between my kids' age. When you get here, when you start getting to that spot where you don't really, I'm gonna give you the business. You'll get to that level, right? When you can live life not being not being directed or dictated by the world, and you know that you were living, you're living your life according to what God has told you, what God has called you to do, how you feel, and you don't have to alter your speech, you don't have to alter your vision, you don't have to alter who you are to please other people. That is true freedom. That is absolute true freedom. I know millionaires who are taking their life because they got all this money, but they still a prisoner. They still trapped. They ain't free. I know people that don't have money that's happier than folks that got money. Why? Because they are living in they filth and funk, and they love it.
Hmm.
They absolutely love it. I drive for a living, and sometimes I pass people, and they out there with their kids in front of their house. They got 50,000 cars. They got garbage everywhere. They out there having a good old time barbecuing, people coming through like these rural country places that I go through. And I'm like, yo, how in the devil can you live in this? And that question because they're living authentically themselves.
Hmm.
This is why I have a podcast called the Authentically Real Podcast, because we talk about being authentically you. And that is absolute true freedom when you can live your life. And I don't really like to say on your truth, because sometimes, Ginger, your truth could be fluffed with a bunch of lies and fillers.
Yeah.
And you say something to yourself so many times, it could be a bold lie, but you done said it so much, you start to believe it. But that's your
Hmm.
truth. Your truth is lying to you. Your truth is lying to you. Your truth is lying to you, especially when you not living where you supposed to be living, especially when you seeing other people. And this is a good one. When you get off of social media, you don't watch somebody and you know that they doing what you want to do, and you sitting out here feeling the funk. You sitting out here got all these facades and act like you winning, and but at the end of the day, when it's done, you sit back here and you like, I know I'm lying. I know I'm lying. That's when you know your truth is not your truth is full of lies. That's not your. Stop living your truth, because your truth is bad. When you can wake up in the morning knowing that I gave 120%, like Inky say, you empty the bucket every day, and you don't have to feel no shame about what you did, you are finally free.
Love that. And
Yeah.
I needed to hear that as well because I have no problem sharing my age. I'm 26. I'll be 27 this year. And that's stuff that I'm currently working through because I know that
Yeah.
there's a call on my life and there's a woman that God has destined for me to be in. And I need to show up as her. So I'm like, all right, God, help me
Mm,
take off this junk, help me take off these layers. And that's something I'm working
yeah,
through in this season, is worrying less about what other people got to say, what other
yeah,
people might think, and
yeah.
focusing on what he's told me and the vision he's gave me. So thank you.
That's the worst. Yeah, that you're 100%. You're welcome. That's the worst prison to ever put yourself in.
Yeah.
Is when you lock yourself into this cell. That is the bars of the cell. Is the visual is other people's vision for your life. Is other people's idea of what you should be doing for you. Is other people's idea of who you should be in public. That is the absolute worst prison. That is the worst thing that you can do to yourself. You can't please everybody all the time. Now, I'm not talking about don't get you a mentor type stuff, but
Yeah.
worrying so much about what somebody else think about you, oh man, you gonna be miserable all the days of your life if you let other people dictate what you should be doing with you, and they can't even dictate what they should be doing with themselves. So yeah, yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah, this was a dope conversation.
I know. I'm like, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
There was so many amazing things said, and we're gonna finish off on a lighter note because
Mm-hmm.
I think,
Yeah.
I mean, what more is, you already said so much.
We
I
gonna
think
yeah.
if somebody's listening and they're not taking notes, or they didn't need to go back and listen to something again, I don't know, maybe they weren't listening to this because
Mm-hmm.
you just dropped so
You
many
get me to
gems.
talking, I'll get to running off, man. I don't run us into an hour, just running my mouth. So
No, you're good. We won't be much longer. So I like to wrap up with some fun questions. So,
absolutely.
I mean, you said you grew up as a military brat, so I'm sure you've
Mhm.
traveled, but is there anywhere that you'd like to go right now if you could?
Dubai. I would love to go to Dubai. That
Yeah.
is on my bucket list. That is everybody talking about the Burj Khalifa and Dubai.
Yeah.
Is I want to go to Dubai. That is on my list. That's on my bucket list. Um, that's the one spot. I've been all over Europe. I've been to Germany, France, Italy, England, Iceland, Czechoslovakia before it became Ukraine. I've trampled all over the Eastern Bloc of Europe, and I would love to go to Dubai. That's
Me
my
too.
spot. Yeah,
And it's always
yeah,
showing up on my TikTok too. And I'm like, oh, let me save that for when the day
yeah,
comes.
for sure, for
Yes,
sure.
I feel you on that.
Yep,
And then
yeah.
is there either a song that is you're listening to on repeat for this season, or just a song that in general keeps you going that you'd like to share?
Um, matter of fact, there is, and this gentleman, um, I have it in my browser, but I got him off of I got him off of IG, right? And I believe this song is called "Don't Get Me the Lion." Don't get me the line. Hold on, I got you. I got you. Um, what this what this young boy's name is? Okay, Evan Ford. Thanks in advance. I don't know if you've heard that before, but this guy, this song is such is it. I don't know what it does to me, but it hits me in my feels. And I have been listening to this song. I think I picked it off of IG maybe 5 months ago, and I have been rocking this song. Thanks in advance. Again, his name is Evan Ford, and it's a 2 minute gospel song, and he wrote it himself. And man, this thing, it gets in my feels. That's my jam for 23. That's my jam.
I love
Because
it.
reason why, because I'm planting seeds now for 24,
Yeah.
and that's a thanks in advance. We about to
Yeah.
reap a mega harvest in 24. So that's
Yeah.
it, Evan Ford. Thanks in
I love
advance.
that. And
Yeah,
I've been heavy on gratitude in this season as well, because
yeah,
it's like it is definitely seeds planted. So
yeah,
I can't wait to
for
check that
sure.
out. And
Yeah.
then lastly, I always like to ask my guests if they would like to share either a book that you
Oh,
recently read, or a book
yes.
that
Hold on.
is a game changer. Okay.
I, yeah, I got you. Hold on. Hold on. That's a great question. Because I got my bookshelf right here. Let me go and give it to you. Let me go and give it to you. Right here. Hold on.
Oh.
D.D. Jakes, Disruptive Thinking. This book right here is super, super fire. Super, super fire. Please read this. If you have not picked this up, you can get this at Barnes & Noble. I don't get nothing for it, but whatever. I'm glad you asked. Disruptive Thinking is it. I literally just finished this book. I'm on my next book by I don't know if you've read Ryan Holiday, The Daily Stoic, but
Oh.
this is my last one. I'm gonna give you this one, The Daily Stoic. Go check that out. I'm into this one right now. Those of you that have, where is it? It is. Here we go. I got that from my wife, and I read that. Radical Thinking by
Yeah.
Lisa Bilyeu. Yeah, them books right there. Those are my go-tos. Those books are fire. So pick them up. By all means, pick them up, please.
I love that. And I'm definitely gonna put
But
all of those in the show notes so they don't gotta be like, what was that book again? I'm gonna put
yeah,
it in
yeah, yeah.
writing. But that's all
Yep.
I got. Do you
Hey
have
man,
any
this was a
closing
blessing.
words or
Yeah,
anything? Last
man. Yeah,
thoughts?
yeah. Lastly, before I jump off of here, thank you so much, Ginger. First of all, for letting me come through on your platform. It has been a blessing talking to you. I'm looking forward to the other guests that you have coming on. I know this is going to be a phenomenal platform and a very impactful podcast for those that listen. What I have for you, lastly, is please give yourself grace. Please give yourself grace. Even Jesus had problems with his disciples. Even he had people that the Bible says there was disciples that had left him. Now we only know the 12, but there was estimated to be over 500 disciples that followed him because at one time he even asked his own inner circle of 12, "Are y'all gonna leave me too?" Sometimes people leave you because God has required them to leave. Everybody can't go to the penthouse with you. That's why elevators have floor selections. Some people get off at the first floor, third floor, 10th floor, 13th. They can't go to the top with you. There are certain things in your life that you have to do on your own, and you're not going to get everything right. Even Jesus struggled in the Garden of Gethsemane with finishing his own mission and asked God, "Is you really sure that we got to do this? Like, I don't really think we got to go this way. Like, I'm struggling right now, but not my will, let thine be done." He got out the way. Give yourself grace. You're not going to get everything right. And if he had problems in his camp, you're going to have problems in your camp. Stop trying to resurrect dead relationships. Let them go. Love on yourself. Have grace for you. Tell you every morning that I love you. Give yourself the first heart, the double tap of the day. Win the day. When you win your day, you win your life. Keep pushing forward. Believe in you. Always bet on you. And be graceful to self, other people, and God. Enter his course with praise and thanksgiving and take every step forward. Do not look back.
That's it. Mic drop. Thank you so much, Kevin Nivek. Thank you, thank you,
You're
thank
very
you.
welcome. You're very welcome. I appreciate you.